everyone, this is Heather from Heather C Crafts, and I am very excited to be guest designing for the Greeting Farm today. The two stamp sets I will be using are the Magical Friends stamp set and the Little Fairy stamp set. I went ahead and stamped out the images I wanted to use to save some time, which was the little Pegasus image. You can see her adorable little wing there from the Magical Friends stamp set, and then two of the little fairies from the Little Fairy stamp set. I think these stamp sets work so well together. Now, for the little flying pony there, I wanted to give her a rainbow mane and a rainbow tail. So I am using some Copics for this, and the colors I used, the pink was R81, the very light mint green there was YG41, and the purple was V04. So what I did is I just took my Copic, and using some flicking motions, I just alternated from one color to the next, and I kept the same pattern, which was pink, green, purple, pink, green, purple. And I did blend the colors a little bit where they met, but I didn't do too much blending because I really wanted the colors to pop and stand out and not look like they just bled into each other. So here I am just finishing up the tip of her tail, and then I am going to go ahead and color the inside of her ear there with my pink Copic, and I am going to switch to my spectral markers now. So for the body of the pony, I wanted her to have a really light purplish color, and for this part of the coloring, I used HB1, HB2, and HB3. And me personally, I like to go from darkest to lightest. There are so many different ways you can color. There are so many different layers you have the option to do. But for my own personal preference, I prefer to do my shadowing and outlining in the darkest, then the middle, and then the lightest. So you can see that's what I did here, and I'm just taking my HB1 now and blending out the HB2 and the HB3. Now to move on to the little fairies. I just got through saying I like to do darkest to lightest. Unless I'm coloring skin tones, then I like to put down a single layer of my lightest color first. So again, I'm using my spectral markers, and I started out with FS2, and I colored the faces and the arms, and then I am using TN3 for my shadows, and then I'm going to go in with TN2 and blend that out just a little bit. And then for the cheeks, I'm highlighting the cheeks with some CR3 to make them just a little bit rosy. And then I am using my FS3 to blend that out. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with my FS2 and go over everything a couple more times. And when I was filming, I did forget to color their legs. I missed that part, but I do color them off camera. So if you're watching this and it's driving you crazy because I haven't colored their legs yet, I do color them. I just do it off camera. So there you can see their little legs are colored. Now for the hair, I wanted to make the little fairy with the little braided pigtails kind of a dirty blonde color. So I used GB10, GB7, and GB5. And again, this is with my spectral markers. So I put the darkest color down for the highlights, and then I'm going to go in with GB7, which is the second darkest color, blend that out a little bit, and then lastly use GB5 to go all over her hair, the top of her head and her pigtails. And I really like the little kind of golden glow she has there at the top of her head. So for my second fairy, I wanted to give her some dark brown hair. So I used EB8, EB5, and EB3. And the same thing here, just putting down my darkest colors for the outlines and the highlights. And then I'm going to go in with my second darkest, pull some of that darker color out, and then I will go in with my lightest and go over everything a couple of times. And I do really like the highlight at the top of her head, the lightest color gave. So for the pink fairy, I am going to give her a pink dress. So I have switched back to my Copic markers, and I am using RV25, RV14, and RV13. I do not have a very big Copic collection, but the few I have do work really well with my Spectrum markers. And for the little brunette, I'm using BT5, BT7, and BT8. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with IB1 and just highlight their wings to give their wings just a little bit more definition than being just dark white. Now off camera, I'm going to fussy cut these. And now I'm going to work on my background panel. So I have put down a towel because this is really messy and I didn't want to get my workspace messy. And I have here a piece of plastic. This is just the packaging. Some stickers came in. And I'm going to take my Distress inks. So I have spun sugar and I have a spray bottle. And I did spray my background paper before I sprayed my Distress ink and put that on the panel, on the background panel. And I will say from trial and error that I find using watercolor paper, I get the best results using this technique with watercolor paper than I do with just regular cardstock. It gets too wet with regular cardstock and it peels and warps, and it looks and works a lot better with watercolor paper. So now I'm using Salty Ocean, and I am just going to go over that spun sugar with the Salty Ocean. And you can't really see the spun sugar that well on camera, but I will have splotches on my background panel, and I didn't want that to be white, so that's why I chose the spun sugar, because it's a really light pink. And now I am using Seedless Preserves, and again I'm just gonna take that piece of plastic and smush that ink down where I want it. I really love this technique, and I really love the color you get when the Salty Ocean and the Seedless Preserves mix. So, and you've also seen me throughout the video kind of tilting it and moving it, and that's just me trying to get the design I want. And then I also take the towel and I just kind of blot up the excess ink. So I was really happy with how the background turned out. So I did trim that down a little bit. And as you can see, the light splotches there at the top left corner, that is pink. So that is not white. Now I am using my stamp positioning tool for this, because with watercolor paper, it can be, it's textured. So sometimes I have to stamp more than once to get the image, to get a clear, crisp image. So that's why I chose this. So I'm using Have a Fairy Nice Day, which is from the Little Fairy stamp set. And I do stamp this twice. And I'm stamping this with VersaFine ink because I'm going to heat emboss it with clear embossing powder. So now I'm just going to take my clear embossing powder and just pour that over the sentiment, just so it gives it a nice shiny look. Now I'm using foam tape to put my background panel onto my card base, because it did warp a little bit, not too badly, but it did warp a little. So I'm just going to use foam tape to attach that, that way you don't notice the warped background so much. And I'll probably go ahead and put this card under a heavy book to kind of straighten it out too. That helps a lot. And now I'm just going to adhere my images. So I'm figuring out where I want everything to go. And then I'm going to take my liquid adhesive and I'm going to glue down the little pony and the two fairies. Next, I am going to take a glitter pen and I'm going to add some glitter to the mane and tail of the pony and to the wings and outfits of the fairies, just so that they have a really nice sparkle. And lastly, I have these gems here and I am just going to randomly place them on my card. And here in a minute, I will shine a flashlight on the card so you can really see that sparkle. Right there, you can really see the sparkle. And that is my card for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.